Insurance. Insurance. Now, you do need insurance when you start off the business, especially if you have staff. So I mentioned to you about having a person who's sitting next to you. It is a legal requirement in the UK that we cover anybody who is working within our organization. This is where the limited company comes into force. The limited basically means whatever losses there are, whatever components there are within the business is going to be limited within the confines of that business, okay? But that business needs to be insured. So if I'm working in that business, if I get someone else working in that business, God forbid something happens, we need to know that the third party is covered, and I'm also covered, and also my staff, they're also covered. This is why you need to have this insurance. Usually it's employees liability insurance, and a public indemnity insurance, I believe. There's two insurances. I may be slightly off. I haven't looked at that recently, but there's two insurance that you do need, and it's not that expensive either. It's the more you do in business, the more expensive it will become, because it depends on the number of people that it's covering and so on. But when you're first starting off, it's a very basic fee, and you need to have this. So look into all the different insurances there. As I say, there's usually two different insurance, and the level of cover which you need is something which is quite important also when you're talking about insurance. Most businesses, most smaller businesses will accept you with a insurance cover of up to about £2 million. But depending on who you're supplying, and if you're supplying someone larger, so let's just take the NHS in the UK, for instance. We've got the NHS. Now the NHS, they are obviously, it's a huge organization. There's a certain level of safety which they need to make sure that kind of circles, them. So therefore you need to make sure you have a certain level of cover. Usually the cost is a little bit higher, but the cover is usually about £5 or £10 million for both the public indemnity and the employees liability insurance, as I mentioned. So it's about £10 million each, which sounds a lot, but it's a sufficient cover. It will be a little bit more expensive, but if you've got to that stage where you are supplying nationwide and you're supplying to the NHS and other bigger organizations, then it's going to be an insignificant cost. You'll be happy to pay that.